We will use artificial intelligence to achieve national goals, Communications Minister Bosun Tijani emphasizes at science
We're here
workshop.
not just to think about application, but to think also about how do we safeguard society.
Stakeholders perfect strategies for safe schools as 10-year anniversary of abduction of Chibok schoolgirls holds in Abuja.
Please will be conscious enough to know when to give you alert.
Positioning Nigeria as the preferred investment destination for the oil and gas sector in Africa and diversifying the economy for the benefit of all Nigerians.
Oil and gas reserve, Nigeria's new level excites players in the industry. Hello and thank you for joining us on the Network News on NTA. I'm Naja Atutijani. Reading with me from Lagos is Michael Olaleye. And right here in Abuja, Benny Adams with Business News. Remember that this broadcast is being streamed live on our networks, and the ongoing live transmission of the Nigeria Police Awards and Commendation Ceremony will continue after the network news. Stay tuned to know the gallant officers and men of the police force who will be honored for protecting the lives and property of Nigerians. And now the news in detail. We begin with security reports. 22 students and staff of the Federal University Gusau rescued by security and intelligence agencies from a hostage situation have been handed over to the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa, who was at the National Counter-Terrorism Center Abuja, venue of the event, reports that the NSA attributed the safe and successful rescue mission to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's proactive support.
I feel highly honored on this wonderful opportunity given to me to thank the Almighty Allah and thank the National Security Advisor and the government for the safe release, having been in captivity for over 207 days. I said kudos to all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Full of joy, gratitude to God and the government, these rescued 22 students and staff of the Federal University Gusau, abducted in September 2023, now express sigh of relief. The joint rescue operations, coordinated by the National Counter-Terrorism Center, were conducted in 3 batches.
The first batch were rescued on 15th March 2024, while the second batch were rescued on 12th April 2024. The last batch were rescued on 14th April 2024. None of the females were molested, and all the females tested negative to pregnancy tests.
This is yet again a success story in our efforts to free all those being unlawfully held.
The National Security Advisor commended their parents for their patience during the operations and the security and intelligence agencies for sustained efforts, stressing that more than 1,000 victims have been rescued so far.
On behalf of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I thank all those who got involved in this very successful rescue of the victims without losing anyone or paying any ransom.
The Zamfara state government also commended the federal government for its commitment to further secure the nation. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
It's been 10 years since the Chibok schoolgirl abduction, and priority must be placed on provision of safe school infrastructure and adequate financing if Nigeria is to achieve the minimum standard for safe schools across the Federation, say stakeholders in the education sector who commemorated the Chibok incident at the instance of the United Nations Children's Fund in Abuja with a call to keep all school children safe. Olainka Ojo reports.
10 years ago, 276 students were adopted from Government Girls Secondary School, Chibok in Borno State. And through the combined efforts of government and other individuals, a total of 184 have so far been released, while Nigerians are still hoping for the safe return of the remaining 92.
The civil society group Enough is Enough estimates that 1,952 primary and secondary school children, girls and boys, have been taken from at least 38 schools in 17 states.
With the adoption of students becoming a recurring decimal, safeguarding the future of children has become urgent. And this is the focus of this conversation.
There is a lack of investment in infrastructure measures to make sure that schools are safe.
So making sure there's a lockable fence, there's a gate, there's access control in the school, and also on emergency preparedness.
Key players are therefore making a case for strong political will and proper implementation of safe school standards.
If you look at the plan closely, we have the funding gap is expected to come from states and the local government. So it's a commitment trying to address the issues of attacks on education.
Citizens will be conscious enough to know when to give you alert. And that is why we are saying that even our security premises will be more friendly.
Let us transform our policies into action, our strategies into solution, and our goodwill into tangible outcome.
According to them, together, Nigeria can fight the cankerworm and restore trust between educational institutions and the community they serve. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
The search for the remaining girls is still on, while their families have kept hope alive to see their loved ones a decade after they were forcefully taken to Sambisa Forest while writing their senior secondary school leaving examination. And joining me via Zoom from Lagos to talk about the state of the rescued girls and their families a decade after the incident is the Director, Media and Communications of Chibok Community, and also a strategic team member of the Bring Back Our Girls movement, Dr. Allen Manasseh. Thank you for joining NTA News.
Thank you for having me.
It's been 10 years, Doctor, since the unfortunate abduction, since the abduction of the schoolgirls on the verge of completing their secondary school. And now more than half have been rescued and others are still unaccounted for. How does this make the good people of Chibok community feel, especially families of the victims?
Well, to be honest, it's a very difficult situation for most of the parents and the loved ones of, especially those who are still having their daughters in abduction 10 years after. For those that their daughters were able to escape and those that the government was able to negotiate the rescue and the release of two batches of the Chibok girls, first 21 and the second 82, they are happy that their children are back, while they also join hopefully to wait with other parents that are still expecting their children to be back. And together we will be joyful to have the children back, because if we could cast back, we will see the joy on the faces of the parents that came to Abuja to welcome the rescued girls in the past. They were so happy to see their daughters back. And as we always say, as community, as people of Chibok, we are always ready to welcome our girls in whichever form or shape they are coming back. They are welcome to be back, and we are ready to receive them anytime they either escaped or they are rescued by our security forces.
And speaking of having them back in any form or shape, more than 20 of the rescued girls in the last few years have come back with 34 children after being forcefully married to insurgents. How are they coping with the trauma, and what psychological interventions have been given to them?
That segment of the girls are our point of concern currently, because we have seen even those that came back the first 2 years after the abduction, some of them are still passing through lots of trauma, and they are not completely healed because of the kinds of damage the terrorists have caused on them, abducting them at that tender age, right from school and into the forest with terrorists for over 2 years. So if those ones are still suffering from different kinds of trauma, you could imagine the level of trauma that these ones that spent close to 10 years before escaping or before getting rescued, and they are coming back not as young girls, but are coming back with children that they did not decide to give birth to. But because the terrorists took them and forced them into sex slavery, and they were forced to give birth to children that some of them are not even ready to take care of. So we have expecting that this set should get the maximum kinds of attention, whereby their psychosocial counseling and trauma healing will be top notch, and remove them completely from areas that they could be associated with their assailant, because recently we are reading about them being associated with their captors, in Borno State. We are saying they need to be moved out completely from that location so that they can have complete healing and then be supported by all individuals, governments, and organizations that are available and are ready to help them to heal, to get back to life and develop themselves to be able to take care of the children they are forced to carry.
All right, Doctor, briefly, in addition to healing from this trauma, what are the hopes and expectations, especially for those who are not yet accounted for? Briefly, Doctor.
We from the first call is to expedite action to get these girls back. But today we are 10 years. But the fact that even close to the 10 years, we are still having girls escaping from their captors, it is possible that the government can put all its acts together with the crude intelligence the girls are providing. The government can find a way of rescuing these girls and bring them back home and alive and reunite them with their families. It's a doable thing, and that will send a very strong signal to all others that are still in abduction, that Nigerians and the Nigerian government cannot give up on them. We still keep hope alive, and we are still fighting to have them back, because they are our citizens. We love them and we are ready to have them back. And then also to ensure that we do not force children to begin to choose between going to school and staying alive in this situation where the terrorists are feeling that they have been emboldened to keep attacking schools through the 10 years.
Thank you very much, Doctor, and that is the hope of every Nigerian. I've been speaking with Dr. Manasseh Allen, a strategic member of the Bring Back Our Girls movement, and also the Director Communications of the Chibok community, speaking on the anniversary of the Chibok abduction and hopes for the return of those unaccounted for. And now to still on security, community policing across the 6 area councils of the Federal Capital Territory has been strengthened with a donation by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, of operational motorcycles to the Nigeria Police Force and other sister security agencies in Abuja. Onoze Yakubu captured the symbolic handover ceremony and now reports.
60 of these motorcycles were handed over to the Vigilante Group of Nigeria to be distributed across the 6 area councils, 30 to the Nigerian Police Force, while the Department of State Security Service and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps received 5 each. At the symbolic handover ceremony, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike urged the Vigilante Group of Nigeria to utilize the motorcycles in assisting the police and other security agencies to combat crime and criminality, particularly in the rural communities of the FCT.
I don't want to hear stories tomorrow that the motorcycles are nowhere to be found again. I don't want to hear such stories, because sometimes when you give out vehicles, before you know it, the vehicles are no longer there. Please utilize these motorcycles to fight crime in the areas you have identified. The area councils, ordinarily, the chairman of the area councils ought to handle this, but this is our support to them in their various area councils.
It's good for policing. And we want to thank the Honorable Minister and tell him that he will see the difference, because we needed them. You can see we demanded for more. Even the one that can carry GPMG, we demanded for it.
It shows that he knows the concept of internal security, because we are the first line of defense. And he has given us much, because he has given about 10 in each area council.
He added that with this gesture, the response time of the operation will be speedily reduced. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army is to investigate the alleged unprofessional conduct of some of its personnel which allegedly led to the death of a hotel manager in Umuahia, Abia State. In a statement, the Director of Army Public Relations, Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, affirms that the Army has ordered a full-scale investigation into the incident to get the facts and bring to book anyone found culpable. The Nigerian Army extends its heartfelt condolences to the families of the deceased manager, Achimoku James Etobi, and the Nigerian Air Force officer cadet, Emmanuel Chidebere, assuring the public that justice will be served. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu is back in Abuja, the federal capital, after a week-long Eid al-Fitr break in Lagos. On arriving in Abuja, President Tinubu was received by a delegation including his Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila. During his stay in his home state, the president received several dignitaries paying Salah homage, including Vice President Kashim Shettima, state governors and members of the National Assembly. It's time for a break. The network news will continue shortly. Stay tuned. Thanks for staying tuned. We're talking artificial intelligence now and a national strategy for Nigeria to responsibly steer the AI revolution towards achieving national goals around job creation, social inclusion and sustainable development has become imperative, says the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, who was at the National Artificial Intelligence Strategy Workshop in Abuja. ICT correspondent Olajide Bello was there for NTA News.
The International Finance Cooperation projects that the strategic adoption of AI could add up to $234 billion to Africa's GDP by 2030. Nigeria, in this loop, is considered to have a fast-growing technology startup ecosystem, having attracted 25% of the $1.3 billion funding to African tech startups in 2021, and with proactive leadership, and is well positioned to leverage AI for economic diversification and inclusive growth. Gathered here are 120 leading Nigerian AI researchers and practitioners, technology companies, civil societies, and other groups to co-create a comprehensive national artificial intelligence strategy, leveraging human-centered design approach to formulate a strategy focused on the needs of Nigerian citizens and communities.
We're here not just to think about application, but to think also about how do we safeguard society from artificial intelligence as well. And how do we do that in a way where we're not just pushing it back at innovation and technology, but we're doing it from a place of insight and knowledge so that we can actually capture the gains from it, but also protect society from its vices as well.
AI offers the opportunity to leverage technology to solve some complex and urgent challenges.
The approach is fundamental because it will help us to use our diverse insights and expertise to create a strategy that is inclusive and also reflecting our national consensus.
Expected outcomes from the workshop will be a draft national AI strategy document defining the strategic imperatives, policies, investment, implementation, roadmap, governance structure, and necessary steps to catalyze Nigeria into an AI-driven economy. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
A survey has shown that data transfer or transportability of genetically modified products within the AU and ECOWAS regions will not only boost food sufficiency but eliminate redundancies in local testing required to enhance a robust biosafety practice for the protection of human health and the environment. Key players from the National Biosafety Management Agency in Nigeria, experts from Ghana and Auda NEPAD in Abuja underscored the importance of understanding the barriers and potential enablers of biosafety data sharing, especially from confined field trials for regulatory decision-making, bearing in mind the opportunities and challenges.
On a crop, then the data and all that they use
we can equally see if we can use it here in Nigeria, so as to reduce time wastage, so that crops can be grown and we can help to address things like food insecurity.
You know, cowpea, the one we call beans, you know that there is no single one of them is resistant to that pod borer. You see holes once you buy beans. Right from production, you're able to solve that through agricultural biotechnology.
Data transportability is a safety and economic enabler for the development of our national system. Not just promoting our economy, but to ensure that the food system, the environment is protected.
The National Biosafety Management Agency recognizes the critical role that data plays in modern biosafety management, risk assessment, and believes this meeting will serve as a platform for ideal discussions, knowledge sharing, and collaboration among stakeholders to enhance data transportability while upholding the highest standards of biosafety and security. Meanwhile, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says it has fully restored the national grid following a fire incident at the Afam Power Generating Station, which caused a partial disturbance of the grid. In a statement, TCN indicates that in the early hour of today, Monday, a fire erupted at the Afam 5 330 kV bus bar coupler, leading to units tripping off at AFAM 3 and AFAM 6. This resulted in sudden loss of generation, destabilizing the grid and causing a partial collapse. During the incident, the Ibom power plant was isolated from the grid, supplying parts of Port Harcourt region, thereby minimizing the effect of the system disturbance. TCN confirms that the affected section of the grid has been fully restored and stabilized. TCN also reaffirms its commitment to enhancing the resilience and reliance of the national grid and pledges to continue investing in measures aimed at strengthening the grid infrastructure. The federal government is intensifying collaboration with UNESCO and other key players towards addressing gender inequality in education across the country. The Minister of State for Education, Yusuf Tanko, stated this at the opening of a 5-day capacity building workshop for gender desk officers and others from 6 selected states and the Federal Ministry of Education holding in Suleja, Niger State. Chukunonson Mwabweze reports.
The training, which is put together by the Federal Ministry of Education in collaboration with UNESCO's International Institute for Educational Planning, IIEP, and Gender at the Center Initiative, GCI, is to build the capacity of gender desk officers and other relevant officers drawn from 6 selected states of Abia, Bauchi, Delta, Kebbi, Kogi, and Ogun for an improved gender equality in education at state level.
We all realize that the only way we can do is to see how can we improve inclusive education. As of today, education is most skewed toward a male child, and there is need also to improve on the enrollment of a girl child in education.
UNESCO, actually gender is a priority, is one of the global priority with Africa. And it's natural that we accompany the member states to ensure how they will track, how they will ensure that gender be maintained in all the plans, and particularly in the education sector.
We are here to accompany states as they seek to understand the different gender inequalities and disparities and dimensions within their own context, and then for them to develop their own solutions.
With the theme, Gender Responsive Educational Planning and Gender Equality, these participants are expected at the end of the workshop to put into use the knowledge and skills garnered to enhance gender balancing across different stages of education in Nigeria. Chukunonson Mwabweze, NTA News.
Away from education, the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the Southwest Zone says it will continue to work with states and other stakeholders to ensure the APC remains the party of choice. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu stated this after a meeting of APC national executive members from the Southwest in Lagos. Joy Ken Abakoya reports.
The meeting, attended by APC National Executive Council members, zonal officers and state chairmen from the Southwest, is the first since the appointment of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu as the party's Southwest coordinator. Governor Sanwo-Olu says the essence is to deliberate and come up with far-reaching decisions that would reposition and strengthen the APC.
Other things will follow. We'll begin to do a lot of work behind the scene, and engaging, issues that we have in some of our states, and try to bring all of us together, begin to look at areas where we can indeed intervene as a zone, especially with critical stakeholders, and just to generally put APC as the biggest party in Africa.
In a communique presented at the end of the meeting, the Southwest executives resolved, among other initiatives, to prioritize empowerment and engagements with students, youths, women, and persons with disabilities.
After discussing the challenges facing the party in the zone, this meeting resolved to immediately set up a zonal office of the party in Ibadan, and also to immediately set up a liaison and operational office in Lagos.
The party executives, who also reserved to harmonize all states in the Southwest and reconcile all feuding parties, say a Southwest Assembly of the All Progressives Congress will be convened in June this year. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakbuya, NTA News.
Michael is next with more news from our Lagos zone. Michael.
Good to see you, Najatu. The Lagos State government has directed contractors handling the Abiola Onijemo Link Road and Bridge project to speed up work to ensure timely delivery of the strategic road project. This was during an inspection of work done so far on the project, which began 18 months ago. Joy Ken Abakweya reports.
You know, this place has always been a flood-prone area in which people living on the other side cannot come across, and it's a major bypass, a strategic bypass.
The 643-meter Abiola Onijemo Link Road construction, with a 7.3-meter main carriageway, a 4-meter slip road, and a 7.3-meter reinforced concrete bridge linking Ifako-Ijaye and Ojodu local government areas of Lagos State, is expected to open up the areas for economic development.
Paying before passing the road is a serious challenge on one part, because you start thinking in your mind that, oh, I need to pay before I pass. This construction is a very good, innovative.
Anytime there is rain, we normally encounter casualties with the Okada. It's the only Okada that can apply this route.
It gives us an alternative route, so we don't have to pass through Fagba to get to Ogba. So they gave us the way that we live in Okera. It's easier for us to get to Shaga from Okera.
Expressing satisfaction with the level of work done so far, Special Advisor to the Lagos State Governor on Infrastructure, Olufemi Daramola, says the project is in line with the state's Theme Plus agenda. The purpose, he says, is to reduce travel time, enhance connectivity, and improve the environmental status of communities around the axis.
Looking round, what has been done here is of high quality, good quality, in line with Mr. Governor's strategic master plan for movement of people and commuters in the axis.
With concrete work currently ongoing, the contractor handling the project says the road will be completed and handed over in June 2024. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakbuya, NTA News.
To upscale the capacity of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, the British government has donated an operational data analysis center to the agency at its Murtala Mohammed International Airport Command in Lagos. Larry Bilayi reports that the NDLEA chairman, retired Brigadier General Murtala Mohammed Buba Marwa, unveiled the new facility.
Brigadier General Buba Marwa described the facility donated by the British High Commission to Nigeria as a significant milestone in the fight against illicit drugs. He appreciated the British government for the vital hub for data analysis and strategic planning building with the state-of-the-art facilities to boost the anti-narcotic agency capabilities in tackling the menace of substance abuse and drug trafficking.
This building complex stands not only as a physical structure, but as a symbol of the enduring partnership between our two nations in the global fight against drug trafficking.
The facility is expected to play a huge role in strengthening both countries' resolve to partner in tackling the global illicit drug industry, which requires global response.
It takes a whole set of different actors, a whole set of different capabilities to address any criminal activity, and this office will play its part in that important fight.
NDLEA in the past 3 years has successfully made more than 50,000 arrests, with 46 drug barons operations shut down. The agency has also convicted over 9,000 offenders, seized over 7,000 tons of illicit substances, while 1,000 hectares of cannabis farm destroyed. NDLEA Chief Executive Officer is convinced that with a facility like this initiated across the Federation, the agency will be better positioned to fight illicit drug trafficking to a standstill. In Lagos, Lanre Bilayi, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. The news continues shortly. Please stay.
Sustaining the stability recorded in strengthening the naira against the dollar, guests on Good Morning Nigeria believe requires a robust diversification of the country's export base. The guests are also emphatic that continuous monitoring of measures put in place by the Central Bank of Nigeria to deepen transparency in forex transactions should not be compromised. Lydia Sampson reports.
It's been accolades for the CBN following the stability in the foreign exchange transactions with the naira. However, economic experts on Good Morning Nigeria believes more can still be done additionally to mitigate relapsing to the volatility experienced when the naira recorded its lowest rate. The guests are suggesting a Buy Nigeria law to help reduce preferences for foreign goods that hitherto are produced in Nigeria.
A lot of people thought that the exchange rate wouldn't get to 1,000 until probably the end of the year, but look at it happening, sooner than expected. So, and it's not just happening at naira strengthening. We've also seen, a reasonable level of stability.
The need to also strengthen and recapitalize Nigerian Export-Import Bank fiscal policies, declaring the naira as the only legal tender as against the recent trend of dollarization of the economy, they insist must be diligently prioritized.
Let policies of the CBN be seen as transparent, let it be seen as equitable, and let us ensure that everybody that wants access to the foreign exchange, and I'm not using just dollar here, anybody that wants access to forex must be able to get it at the prevailing market rates.
They reiterate the need for proactive engagement with countries that will provide sustainable foreign direct investment across the country. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Up next is business news with Benny Adams. Benny, with the billions, over to you.
Thank you. Still talking economic growth as Nigeria gains traction towards becoming a global economic powerhouse. Experts are of the view that commercialization of research outcomes is key to economic growth.
10 years ago, we should be able to, get the naira as a currency of choice. First, because of the AFTA, which is giving us a lot of opportunity, to trade regionally and then trade internationally. And then second, there's so many, opportunities that AGOA is also presenting. But I think the major thing is that we're fixated in the wrong direction, if you ask me. And what is this wrong direction? For agriculture, rain-fed. For science and technology, we legated as a researcher thing. If we put science and tech, and I keep saying this everywhere, and anytime I have an opportunity, is the most important ministry in government today. for us to achieve, these things we want to do. You will find out that there is nothing that we're importing that we do not have the technical capacity, the blueprint, to produce locally.
And take a look at the energy market. Oil prices fell following Iran's attack on Israel late on Saturday, which the Israeli government said caused limited damage. Brent futures for June delivery fell 24 cents to $90.21 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude futures for May delivery were down 38 cents at $85.28 a barrel. The attack, involving more than 300 missiles, had raised concerns about a broader regional conflict affecting oil traffic through the Middle East. And a quick look at the market. At the end of the first weekday of trading, the market closed with a loss of 537.44 basis points, a total of 326.6 million shares in 10,777 deals, corresponding to a market value of 7.169 billion naira, were traded. Today's data shows a 56% decline in volume, 67% decline in turnover, and 14% decline in deals. The current market capitalization is 57.6 trillion naira. United Bank for Africa recorded the highest volume of 42.3 million traded shares, followed by Transcorp Nigeria 27.6 million and Access Holdings 24.6 million. As the market recorded 10 gainers, 32 losers, and 83 equities remained unchanged. That is business news. Naja, you can take it from here.
Thank you, Benny. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission has confirmed total oil and condensate reserves of 37.5 billion barrels. This also contains total gas reserves of 209.26 trillion cubic feet as the official National Petroleum Reserve as of January 2024. The Commission's Chief Executive Officer, Gbenga Komolafe, who briefed journalists in Abuja, also unveiled a template for clarity on domestic crude oil obligations. Lydia Sampson reports.
The country's oil and condensate reserves as of January 2023 stood at 36.966 billion barrels, with a total oil and condensate reserves of 37.50 billion barrels this year, with positive gross addition to oil and gas reserves of 1.087 billion barrels and 2.573 trillion cubic feet of gas respectively recorded. Gbenga Komolafe says the nation's hydrocarbon increase is consolidating Nigeria as a global player. He attributes the positive results to the policy directives of President Bola Tinubu's effort to create a more enabling environment conducive for strategic investment in the oil and gas sector.
His Excellency, Mr. President, has shown determination towards removing obstacles to investment in the Nigerian upstream, improving the investment climate, positioning Nigeria as the preferred investment destination for the oil and gas sector in Africa, and diversifying the economy for the benefit of all Nigerians.
He also unveiled the domestic crude oil obligation template, which provides clarity on legal issues, currency of transactions, which could either be in dollars or naira, as well as logistics and basics for crude oil cargo allocation, and sanctions against acts of defaulters. Gbenga Komolafe says the template produced in consultation with key stakeholders will enhance domestic refining interagency collaboration to ensure consistent supply of crude oil to domestic refineries. A strategic initiative which aligns with the policy of the current administration and the declaration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that Nigeria is ready for business. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
It's time for a break. Stay tuned. The news continues shortly. You're just in time for Sports Update with Austin Edemodu.
Team Nigerian Army has emerged champions of 2024 Chief of the Naval Staff National Open Shooting Championship held in Abuja. Nigerian Army finished overall best with 7 gold medals, 1 silver and 2 bronze medals, while Team DSS came second with 4 gold medals, 7 silver and 2 bronze medals, followed by Team Navy with 1 silver and 2 bronze medals.
In time to come, shooting sports will present a very large number of medals to Nigeria, and we have only just started.
In the ongoing 2024 African Cup of Nations futsal tournament, hosts, the Atlas Lions of Morocco, delivered a stunning 8-3 victory over Ghana in front of their home fans in Rabat, securing their second win and moving closer to the semi-finals. With this result, the Atlas Lions sit top of Group A with 6 points from 2 games, while Angola and Zambia follow closely with 3 points each. Ghana remains bottom without a point. In the UEFA Champions League second leg quarter-final slated for Tuesday, Barcelona take a 3-2 advantage into their second leg encounter against Paris Saint-Germain at the Camp Nou. On Wednesday, Arsenal will be hoping to bounce back from their latest league title setback as they travel to Bayern Munich to settle the scores after their first leg stalemate. With Sports Update, I'm Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
The death has occurred of Esther Sunday Ayim, aged 70. Burial arrangements released by her family indicate that there will be a service of songs on Tuesday, 16th April 2024 by 4 p.m. at St. Peter's Presbyterian Church, Urban Parish, Abakaliki, Ebonyi State. The wake-keep will be at ASP Ayim John Alobo's compound, Isobo ABM Akpa Omaka, Ikwo local government area of Ebonyi State on Thursday, 18th April 2024, after which Mama's body will leave Feta to Abakaliki for her husband's country home. Interment will follow afterwards. Mama Esther is survived by 8 children, including Comfort Ayim of the NTA Enugu Network Center, 8 grandchildren, in-laws and other relatives, and of course the NTA family. May Mama's soul continue to rest in God's mercy. And do remember to, and that concludes the network news on NTA. Do remember to stay tuned for the continuation of the live broadcast of the Police Award and Commendation Ceremony. I'm Naja Atutijani. Thanks for staying with NTA.